Today, we're joined by one of the most exciting drummers in jazz today, Jimmy McBride, named one of Downbeat's 25 for the future. Jimmy has become a highly sought after sideman known for his musicality, versatility, and dynamic touch behind the drum set. Since moving to New York in 2009, he's worked with legends like Terence Blanchard, Kurt Rosenwinkel, and Kevin Hayes, performing everywhere from Dizzy's Club Coca-Cola and Smalls to Newport and the North Sea Jazz Festival. So whether backing top tier soloists or driving a big band, his artistry speaks for itself. So Jimmy, thanks so much for joining me today. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me, Abe.
Yeah, my pleasure. Well, first of all, congratulations on the Downbeat Award, 25 for the future. That's exciting.
Yeah, that was nice. I remember, I think they contacted me, I think during the pandemic. I don't know, 2020 or 2021. Can't remember. Kind of out of the blue. I mean, I was a little surprised, to be honest, to be contacted by them for that kind of thing because I don't really, at least at that point, I hadn't done too much band leading or, uh, my name wasn't out there as a band leader, and I kind of assumed that those kind of things were, you know, maybe reserved more for, or like, kind of they're more interested in showcasing people who have their own band or their own projects. And so initially, I mean, I was flattered, but I was like, oh, I wonder how they found out. I'm, as you said in your intro, primarily a sideman or a side person, playing with other people, playing on other people's records and doing gigs with other people. So yeah, that was kind of, yeah, a little surprising, but it was nice to be recognized in that way.
Well, you would
Um,
think when sometimes there's some sort of magazine accolade or award that the artist is really trying to push to get in that position to be recognized by them. So you're saying they contacted you, so it sounds like it was almost like a cold call, like, hey, like would you, we're gonna recognize you or something like that.
yeah, kind of. Yeah, someone from the magazine emailed me. Yeah, just saying, oh, we're putting together this article on, you know, I guess 25 jazz artists who we think have a bright future. We'd like to showcase, and they wanted to include me. And yeah, it was not something that I reached out to them about or was, you know, hustling to get in any way. I mean, I don't think that's the way that anyone would end up in that article. I think it's about your name,
Right.
getting floated around. But at the same time, I was a little, yeah, just surprised, but, pleasantly surprised,
Well,
I'll
it's always
say.
nice to
So,
to get wake up to some sort of email like that. Um, like most recently, what's a message or email or a text that you got like saying, "Hey, it's so and so. Like, I really like to work with you because, maybe people tell you, Jimmy, you're so great and blah blah blah. Like, I want to work with you, but I'm telling you like from like that you're a musician that like a drummer that everyone wants to work with, believe it or not. I don't know if you don't think about yourself in that way or not, but you're a drummer everyone wants to work with. So, what's the most recent, contact you've gotten sort of out of the blue?
um, let's see. Well, that's very kind of you to say, first of all. Thank you. And that's, yeah, it's obviously it's nice. I'll start by saying that I love playing the drums. I love playing music and working with all kinds of people. So to be thought of as someone who's in demand or who's, uh, a lot of people want to work with me is always a nice feeling. I mean, that's what I'm always striving for. Uh, and as far as like a nice message that I got recently, well, not, I mean, this wasn't that recent, but it definitely meant a lot to me that you mentioned that I got a chance to work with Kurt Rosenwinkel, and I met him through our mutual friend Alex Claffey, bass player, and I played on a recording session with Alex. It was Alex's record. This was like 2 years ago, um, and Kurt was also playing on the record. We were both just, sidemen, I guess. And I had met Kurt only as a fan, gone to see him play or uh, yeah, gone to his gigs when he would play in New York at the Vanguard or other places. And so I didn't really know him, but we were both on this session and we met at the rehearsal and we played together for the first time then. And then we did the record date and I was a thrill to play with him and to get to know him a little better. And get to kind of witness how he operates, as a musician in a setting like that, professional setting in the recording studio. And I didn't think anything of it. And then life went on. But then, yeah, maybe like, I don't know, 6 months later or something, then I just got a text from someone to say, "Hey, this is Kurt Rosenwinkel. Is this Jimmy? I'm just making sure I have the right number." And then he asked me to do some gigs with him, to do a tour with Alex, actually, with Alex Claffey. And we went to South America. We went to Chile and Brazil, and we did a number of
Well, I remember I did see
performances.
you guys playing. Maybe it was it at the Blue Note in another location somewhere, or am I just I could be wrong with
Yeah,
that.
we played at a couple. There was a Blue Note in Sao Paulo in Brazil, and also in Rio, and we
Hmm.
played there. That was part of this tour, and then uh, subsequently, I did another gig with him. I mean, we haven't played together for a little while, but we did a gig last year in Detroit, also with Claffey. And I'll say like that, yeah, getting those. I mean, initially to be asked to play a gig with Kurt, someone who I have admired as a musician for many, many years. Um, and then also then to play with him and then get asked to play again. I think that's really, this is more of a general point, but that I found is like the real, uh, for me, it's one, I think it's the hard thing to do as a musician, and kind of the more meaningful thing is not to just get called for the gig the first time, but to get called back, you know.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's the
I
highest
think
compliment,
I
right?
think that's really what, you know, you aim for is, okay, I did this gig once, but how can I, you know, do a good enough job or to, you know, perform at a high enough level that this person will think, oh yeah, I'd like to work with Jimmy again or work with whoever it is again. Um, so I think that's always a nice feeling, and that, I mean, that doesn't just go for this situation, but any situation when anyone ever, if I work with them one time and then they call me back, that always means, okay, I think I did something right. So,
Yeah. No,
um,
that's the thing too. There's certain sidemen they rely on playing with certain musicians and they're always waiting for that call from that particular person. Then when they don't get the call, they get mad. But you're working with so many different people, you're not even in that position. So I think that's the lesson. Be good enough, be versatile to work with anybody. So you're just moving around in that sense. And you're because like I said, it is, but there are, few and far between who are in that position. Do you remember? I'm going to bring up something funny now just to see if you remember this or
mhm.
not. Like 10 years ago, you were playing at this place on the Jersey Shore. It's called the Avenue. It was like New Year's. You might have been playing with some like GB band or something. And like some woman said, Jimmy McBride, or are you Jimmy? And like you're like, how does this woman know me? I was out to dinner with my mother and father.
Ah, okay,
Do
yeah,
you
yeah,
remember?
yeah.
Do you remember this?
I vaguely remember that. Yes, actually,
Because
yes.
I was like, no, I recognized you, and I was like, oh yeah, because we had both played at like this one venue, like I think I played before you or something like that, and
Wow, I
and
forgot about that.
yeah, and it
Yeah.
was so funny, but you were shocked, like how does this person know who I am? Which brings me to the other question I want to ask you because the jazz community is small and people do know each other and people know each other in the mix and people see each other in videos and stuff. Do you get approached, by younger drummers and, say, oh, like I love your playing and stuff, like without even, maybe been recognized in that sense? Has that ever happened before?
Yeah, it happens sometimes. Yeah, maybe a little more often now
Hmm.
than it used to. Um, which, yeah, maybe my reaction now is less
Shock. You're,
yeah, less shock. And obviously always, when anyone says that to me, that, oh, I that they're a fan of what I do or that they know who I am, uh, it's, yeah, I mean, it's not like I don't expect it. I'm always flattered. I'm always surprised by that, but I'm also glad to know that, you know, uh, someone out there is hearing what I'm doing,
Yeah.
maybe on a recording or on a video, or they've seen me play before. And now that, especially now that I travel a lot and I play in a lot of places around the world, every time I go somewhere, sometimes I go somewhere new and then you meet new people and they get to know your name, or you return to a place you've been and people come to the gig and they say, "Oh, I've seen you
Yeah.
before. I heard you in New York or whatever." So, It does happen sometimes, and um, also, I'm sure you know.
I meant more so like on the street, like just walking.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
it has like I went out to hear some gig somewhere, at the Vanguard, or I was at and maybe someone's visiting in town. They come up to me, "Oh, are you Jimmy McBride?" Um, and that's always nice. It's just really, like I said, it's nice to know that uh what I'm doing is being heard by
Well,
people.
it's come full circle versus when my mom asked you and you were like a little confused. I mean, this is over a decade. It could have been even
Mhm.
longer, to be honest with you. I don't remember exactly, but it's good to know that it's come full circle and your success is being recognized and that's certainly something that's special. Who are you working with now, currently like primarily doing most of your work with?
Um, I mean, it's still kind of a wide variety of people. I do work a lot actually with my wife, though. I think you probably know her, Miki Yamanaka,
Yeah.
great pianist.
Hmm.
We play a lot, both just in New York, playing uh, around town, and then now, she started to um, do more stuff outside of New York, booking tours and uh, playing around the States, but also we went to Europe last year in the fall, and we're going to Japan actually in May to do a tour with her band. So, yeah, I was going to add, as like kind of an addendum to your previous question, also because of Mickey too. Mickey is very um, assertive, or she works really hard to put her name out there, and since I'm associated with her and we play together, um, not just because of our uh, being married, our personal relationship, but also now we've established some long-standing musical relationship too, and so people know me. Oh, I saw you play with Mickey. I saw you on her live stream, or that sort of thing. But she's someone that I work with a lot, and um, other than that, I mean, there are a lot of people. It
Do
kind
you
of
guys do you guys
depends.
do you guys play together every day?
I don't know about every day, but quite often.
Like couple times a week, would you say when you're
It might be, yeah, because both I play with Mickey when it's Mickey's band or when it's her gig, but then other people hire both of us together sometimes, so
do
we
they get
both
a
end up
discount? Like if they hire both of you, it's
no
like,
discount, no
yeah.
discount. And
I'm
Mickey,
just joking.
I don't give Mickey a discount
I'm
either.
just joking. Yeah. No, like that would be funny if people are like, oh,
Yeah.
if I hire you and your wife, can I get like, can you do it both for a little less? Yeah.
No, unfortunately, we're not that nice.
Yeah, that's great. No, I love it. No, that's great to hear that you have that, that relationship.
hmm
And there's also very few people who are married and both jazz musicians.
Yeah, yeah, it's it's an interesting thing to balance your personal and your both musical but also kind of business relationship that way. Um, I'll say that it wasn't, yeah, it didn't always I wouldn't say we have as close a musical relationship now than we, back then that we do now. I'll say like it's definitely changed, it's evolved. Uh I think, Mickey and I always respected one another musically, or we would play together because it was just kind of the easy or logical thing to do, but Mickey didn't always hire me for her gigs, and she even at one point said that you know, she, not that she didn't like playing with me or she didn't enjoy it, but she felt like maybe there was a little bit of, I don't know how to, she kind of said, oh, when we're playing together, it's almost like, you know, you, you are there for me in such a supportive role that it's almost too comfortable, or it's too, it doesn't challenge me the same way, that I want. And, I thought that was really interesting. And I never thought about it consciously, but as her husband, as her partner, I was like, yeah, I guess I want to be there in a supportive role because that's what I feel is the right thing to
Well,
do, or
and it
that's
was also interesting,
yeah.
as I'm talking to you now, you seem like a really nice person and genuine and someone that you'd want to work with just because, you seem like you're there to do the job and do the best as you can and there's no like a whole lot of like bad ego stuff going on, which there's a lot of musicians who have this as part of their personalities. Have you ever had to work with, certain artists who were you're just like, man, like what is with this person personally? Like either they had like this such a huge ego, or is it mostly, you don't have to name the person, but have you ever had to navigate those struggles in a working relationship as well? And if you have to, like, how do you navigate them?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say by and large, in my experience, and maybe I've just been fortunate, but I found that most musicians are really good people. You know, they're
Sure.
really, at least most of the people I've worked with are, yeah, good people, easy to work with, um, very professional, and oftentimes, the music, our industry is interesting because it's like our workplace and our social environment are one and the same. It's like you work with your friends or you become friends with the people you work with. There's not so much distinction between now I'm at work or now I'm in a social. We're always in a social setting when we're playing music. So yes, of course. I mean, I know that I've had to deal with people who maybe are a little more difficult to
Well, are there certain people you just won't work with again because you had a negative experience? With everything that went on, whether it was musically or like
um
even maybe one or two people has that ever happened to? Because there is, everyone encounters somebody, right?
Sure, sure. No, I mean, yeah, certainly I'd say sure. There are maybe some gigs that I'm less likely to want to take maybe because of the past experience that I had, yeah, musically, or I just didn't feel like I was treated with respect, or I
Sure.
felt like maybe um, that
We just
person.
want to know that we just want to know that the great Jimmy McBride has had some of these experiences at
Oh
least.
yeah, no,
You know what
definitely.
I'm saying?
Like you said, everyone does, but it's as you were saying, it's how you deal with it, how you approach that situation. Um, Certainly, I don't want to be known as someone who is difficult to work with
No, no,
or
no, no, not at
who
all. Not
brings
at all.
that kind of. So then I make my best effort every time, no matter what, even when things get weird, especially if you're in a supporting role, if you're the side person, ultimately, whoever you're working for, band leader or whatever artist you're working with, they're your boss in that moment on that gig. So you got to kind of defer to what they want or what even if and when you're there, maybe you're thinking, oh, this is a little weird. This is or I don't really agree with this. Then, later on you can say to yourself, hey, I didn't really like how that went down. Maybe I don't want to involve myself in that
Sure. No,
situation
that's
again.
that's the way to go about it. Do you remember the first jazz club concert you went to in New York as an audience member, as a listener? Does that come to
Um,
mind?
I can think of a few. I don't remember exactly which one was first, but I grew up in Connecticut,
I was
and
just there
so
this weekend, so
oh, nice,
yeah.
nice. So it wasn't that far, and also my grandfather, when he was still alive, was living here in on the Upper West Side in Manhattan. So we would come down to the city quite often to visit him, and obviously because I was already into jazz and I was playing drums, then I wanted to go check out some music, and um, there were definitely some yeah formative concerts that I saw that were at various points in my life that were important to me. Uh, this was a long time ago. I think I was in second grade. I remember going to uh, it was called the JVC Jazz Festival. It doesn't exist anymore, but sponsored by electronics company
Did you see
JVC.
Whiplash?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Well,
saw
it's in there
that.
where they bring their Whiplash. He goes, yeah, they're bringing
Oh,
back the JVC Jazz Fest.
oh, cool. Right, that's right. Anyway, I went to Carnegie Hall. My dad took me to Carnegie Hall. I think that was my first time going there too. So just the experience of going to that
Second
space.
grade.
I think second grade, yeah. And it was like a triple bill, and it was a Latin jazz concert actually. Because I was in, I still am, but into, uh, you know, yeah, Latin jazz into Afro-Cuban music and stuff like that. And I got to see Tito Puente. He was headlining. I saw Tito Puente's band. It was this all-star band with Tito Puente, with Hilton Ruiz, uh, Horacio Negro Hernandez, um, Giovanni Hidalgo was playing, Dave Valentine. It was like all the kind of the most incredible dudes that are part of that scene that are, kind of pioneers or um, I would say, the best of Latin jazz musicians playing together. It was like this all-star band. And opening for him was Pancho Sanchez, the great conguero, and he had his band. And then there was this Japanese big band that was the opening group with this great drummer Akira Jimbo from Japan was playing, and
I've
who I
heard that
knew
name
about.
before. Yeah, I
Yeah,
know
I
that
knew
name.
about because I used to read Modern Drummer, and I would
Right.
see him in Modern Drummer. And anyway, that I remember that. I'll still never forget that concert, especially hearing Tito Puente. I love Tito Puente. Um, I listened to him a lot growing up. I never really played timbales, but I just liked his music. I liked watching him play visually. It's very stimulating. And that band, that was incredible. Also, I remember the first time my mom took me to the Village Vanguard.
Ooh,
That
who
was
was
that was
playing?
I saw Christian McBride, and he was playing with the band that now is known as Inside Straight, but then it was their first gig. They didn't even have a name yet. I think it was just called the Christian McBride Situation. It was a band that he had put together
How
just
old were
for
you?
that
How old were you
week.
then?
I think I was in high school, maybe 14, 15, something like that.
That's
And
so hip.
yeah, that was such a special experience because, I had known about the existence of the Vanguard and obviously listened to recordings that were made there. And my mom grew up going there to hear music, so she had told me about it because she grew up in New York. Uh, and yeah, and I loved Christian McBride, so it was like this perfect combination of getting to hear someone whose music I loved at a place that was, so uh, important, and going there for the first time, hearing the sound in that room. That was very special. So that's something that I will always remember as well.
How do you in your work in the data, you're working all the time, you're playing the drums, you're out and about, um you're among different people all the time. It can be, I'm sure, feel overwhelming too at times, to be working so much and with different people. You have to kind of stay level-headed
Hmm.
in a good space. How do you navigate the ins and outs of that on a personal level?
Well, I mean, yeah, I try to, you know, I love music. I love being involved in music all the time, uh, whether that's playing or uh, working on music on my own or listening to it or whatever. Or Mickey and I talk about music all the time. But there's other things that I enjoy, I like having downtime for. I really like sports. I especially like baseball, and I like the New York Yankees a lot. So, I there's other things that I like, cooking. I love food, I
So if
love.
like people like want to get a gig with you, like just give you some Mets tickets, like that's the way to do it. No, I'm just joking.
Very funny. Hey, Citi Field is a nice place to go. It's a good place to see a ball game.
Oh yeah, yeah, but you're a
Yeah,
Yankee fan.
but I'm a Yankee fan, so we'll leave it at that.
No,
Um,
that's
a-
great.
anyway, yeah, we actually Mickey and I go to a lot of Yankee games because we live very close to Yankee Stadium. Um, that's something that I enjoy doing. Uh,
Did you go see the Yankees when Derek Jeter played with them?
Yeah, I saw Derek Jeter play a few times, both, when I first moved to New York and in the, few years after that before he retired. And I went to a couple games growing up too
Yeah,
as a
as a
kid.
you and I are probably around the same age. I'm 38, almost 38, 37, excuse me.
Okay, I'm a little younger. I'm almost 34, but
Okay.
yeah, similar era of yeah,
So
sports
I saw
and
him when I was like 10 or something like that.
okay,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah, yeah.
So no, this is great to know, get to know. So you go to the Yankees, you like other things as well besides music.
Yeah. I like other things besides music and, um I also, as musicians, we get to travel a lot. I love to travel. I love going to new places. Obviously, traveling is tiring. It can be very tiring. It can be kind of grueling depending on the schedule. But also, I love, going somewhere new and exploring the place that I'm in, getting to see something new or, try some new food or, do a little sightseeing, whatever. Uh, there's time for. I mean, yeah, I feel like that's one of the blessings of being a musician is like, getting paid to travel. And, it's not always a vacation, but there is sometimes time, to have some time to yourself and to see something new. And I grew up traveling a lot too. My family traveled a lot growing up, so I always was into that. I always enjoyed being in new places and getting to see new things. So I think you know, that's something that for me, I find it,
No,
kind of
same. I think it's
rejuvenating. Yeah.
absolutely no. I think
Yeah.
that's important, even just to travel, like not even as a musician, just to travel in general.
No,
Of
just to
course.
travel in general. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take
No.
time to go new places. I think
Yeah.
it's
No, no,
great.
Jimmy, this has been great. Thanks so much for taking the time to speak with me, and it was certainly very insightful. I'm sure a lot of people are going to enjoy. Everyone hears you play, and now they'll get to know you a little better. So once again, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you, Abe. It's a pleasure to do it, and I look forward to seeing it and sharing it. And yeah, thanks again.
Of course.
Okay.